You guys, I can't get over this ballroom. This is so incredible. I've been talking about it all morning, and you can just imagine the interesting things that have happened in this room. But I'm going to tell you about something super interesting. And I want to know before I start, how many of you know what pig butchering is? Raise your hand if you know pig butchering. Okay, that's pretty good. You know, I've been talking about it for 3 years now, and every year there's a few more and a few more and a few more. And if you haven't heard of it, I'm about to tell you something that is going to scare you. If you don't leave this room today very concerned, then I have not done my job. So I'm sorry to ruin your morning, but let's go. This is the billion-dollar crime that is hiding in plain sight. And guess what? I just sat down. I've only talked to maybe 3 or 4 people this morning, and one of them just told me that she experienced pig butchering. So that is how common it is. And it is happening to your cousin, it is happening to someone in your neighborhood, and it is happening to someone who is a parent on your kid's soccer team. That's what is happening. So here's how it starts. It'll start in one of 4 ways. It'll either show up on a dating app, it will show up on a Meta platform, LinkedIn, or with a text that looks like this. All they're trying to do, all these scammers want to do is get your attention. That's old school. Now they're doing just really clever things like, I'm having a barbecue tonight and I hear that you think your sauce is better than mine. Where people will be like, no, it isn't. So what they'll do is they'll send out these text messages that look like this. Their goal is to start a long con with you, a long conversation. They're going to say, and they're going to do it with kind of an elite upper crust thing. Oh, my assistant must have sent the wrong number. But the next thing that's going to drop as soon as you respond to that is this photo. And she'll say, I'm Jessica. I hope I'm not disturbing you. And you may think as you sit here as security professionals, oh, I would not respond to that. But I am here to tell you that we have a loneliness crisis in the United States. The World Health Organization will tell you that it is at the highest level it's ever been. We didn't come out of COVID well, and people are home and people need companionship and just want to talk to someone. Now, Jessica, I call her Jessica because it's always Jessica or Anna, but it could just as easily be Ethan because this is hitting men and women equally. But Jessica's going to want to move that conversation to WhatsApp. She's going to want to get it into a place where it is off a platform that is looking for her. And then she is going to spend the next probably 90 days telling you about her elevated lifestyle. She definitely plays golf. She definitely does yoga. She's going to travel to Hawaii. She drives a Range Rover. And all during this time, she is not saying she's wealthy, but she's showing you it. And you believe it because you have no reason to believe otherwise. You are being treated to the most tender relationship that you've ever had. People who come out of this will say, I never felt so cared for. And in fact, if I lost $75,000 on this, it was worth it because it was the love of my life. And that's the tragedy we live in. Anyway, she's going to show that she lives this elevated lifestyle. And then she's going to say, well, do you know how I've earned this money? Okay, well, this is a good one. Sorry. So let me tell you, I love to put in the newest things into mine. I forgot I put this in. So I am over 50. I am a woman. I like to travel, and I love to scroll my Facebook when I can't sleep. And I saw Emily Parker, and I thought, Emily Parker, I noticed that there were some Emily Parkers, there were some Jessicas, there were some Annas who were joining our group, and I thought, this does not look like I look when I get off a long haul flight. I am not believing for 1 second that you're legit. So I did what any security professional would do, and I screenshotted it and I ran it through the reverse image. And sure enough, she's not Emily Parker from Nashville. She's Aunt Jay Maronka. She's a German influencer. So I'm going to tell you a number of things because people talk, but they don't tell you what can you do today. Here's what you can do today. Police your own corner of the internet. And I police the over 50 Women's Travel Club. So I let them know, and I let them know this is how I know that she's fake. This is her other picture, so this is how we know that she's fake. But I doubled down and I put it in LinkedIn. And I put it in LinkedIn and I said, this woman, look at this. This is how you can identify this. Let me show you. And the very next day, I got a message from a banker in Nashville, because bankers follow me. And this banker said, thank you. You saved my heart and my wallet because I just matched with her on Bumble and I've been thinking she's awesome. That's how it is. So I did not save the world that day, but I saved this banker in Nashville. And if every one of you was saving a banker in Nashville, we'd have a lot better banking situation in Nashville. So let's do our part. Anyway, let me show you other ways they're going to show up. How many of you have gotten a job for you? They found a fantastic job for you this week. Probably yesterday, probably even today, probably as we're sitting here. That's what they're doing. You guys, there is an enemy force that is coming for us, and nobody's talking about it. This is targeted. This is absolutely a campaign against the United States to disrupt us. You know this one. This is easy for you guys. We don't even talk about that. Okay, let me tell you how it works, because it's important to know this, because there's a lot of narratives out there, and the narrative is this. They are old, desperate people. They are women with cats, and people with cats do not appreciate that. But what they'll say is that these are older women who are desperate, and they are falling for these things, and that they are giving away their money. That is not how this scheme works. The way it works is these people think they are in literally the love relationship that they have always asked for, always wanted. They feel loved, trusted, and they think they are presented with an opportunity to make money. And they see that it works because Jessica's driving a Range Rover. And Jessica's going to show me how to do this. Not Jessica, but Jessica's uncle, because it's always the uncle. It's always a learned professor. It's always something like that. There is the cute person who lures you in, and then there is the wise old owl who's going to teach you how to do this work. So here's how it works. Super easy. Let's take, she knows, by now she knows how much money you have because that has been discussed in not a weird way, but like a, you know, we're thinking about moving on together. What would that take? What would that look like? Anyway, so you take a small amount of money to you, $5,000. You are going to take it from yours and you're going to put it into, who knows what those 4 categories are right there, those 4 businesses. Do you guys know those? Oh, you guys need some crypto lessons. Oh, where's the crypto lessons? Okay, so these are all cryptocurrency exchanges. These are banks for cryptocurrency. Now, the crypto bros want you to think this is so confusing and you couldn't possibly understand it. Do you guys understand Delta Sky Miles? Okay, yes, then you can understand cryptocurrency. Do you understand a stack of poker chips? Yes, then you can understand cryptocurrency. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your US dollars to one of these, and you are going to change it from US dollars into USDT. Who knows what that is? Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, that is a stable coin. Here's why you need to know what this is, because this is how, well, I won't go into it, but I'm concerned. I'll tell you that. I'm very concerned. So you're going to change your US dollars into USDT, Tether. It's a stable coin. It's 1-to-1 US dollar. You are going to, you still own this account. You've opened up account in these crypto banks. You have cryptocurrency now. Here's where your money gets stolen. She'll say, my uncle says this is where we need to invest. Now, that looks pretty legit, doesn't it? If I showed you the ones from 2022, they're not so great. Now they're great. They're on the App Store. Why would I not trust this? My love tells me that this is legit. My love is traveling to Hawaii and has an Hermes bag. This looks legit to me. I'm going to invest in that. So you do. So you open an account in your name. Here's where your money gets stolen. The uncle says it's time to invest. You take your 5,000 Tether, you put it into this, and it gets, and you think you're going to see a dashboard that says you have 5,000 Tether. And the next day you're going to have 6,800. And then you're going to have 7,800, and by the end of the week you have 10,000 Tether, and you think, I've doubled my money. This is, how come nobody else knows about this? And over time, she is going to lure you to liquidate your IRA, to liquidate your children's college accounts, to put every last penny in this, because that's how pig butchering works. It does not end until every last penny is in it. So, so in good news, we have people like the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation who are looking and listing these. But the fact is, if I'm in love and she tells me it's legit, I'm not going to look to see if this is a legit platform. I'm in. She told me it's good. So now all my money's in it. and I have $1 million. It looks like I have $1 million, and they say, and I say, you know, I'd like to take some of that money out. You don't have to read the whole thing to see the 24% taxes I have to pay. Well, you didn't tell me that. We'll take it out of my gains. No, it has to be new money. That's when our people are getting reckless, and they are going back to their banks and they're taking out a home equity line. Sometimes nobody's even told their wife about this or their husband about this, because it started with Jessica. And they're lying, they're begging, they're borrowing, they're trying to get this money. They pay the money, and here's what happens. Oh, you successfully completed your taxes, but now you need to pay $10,000 of management fee. And they're paying it. Your next door neighbor is paying this and is not going to tell you that they lost all of their money and they're not sure how they're going to stay in their house at this point. That's what's happening at scale. At scale. You might think, hey lady, I've never even heard about this. I really don't believe this is happening at scale. But you do know how many things you're getting on your phone. You do know how much access they have. How many of you knew that this was a big organized project happening in Southeast Asia? Okay. How many of you know that Chinese organized crime is behind this? And I'm talking about legit Chinese organized crime. I'm talking about broken tooth koi. I'm talking about triads. I'm talking about a very organized, systematic way to take down the American economy and cause chaos. And that's exactly what they're doing. So it's billions of dollars a year. Now let's look at what, we don't have a lot of data on this because exactly what Lance said, people are not coming forward. And they're not coming forward because it's embarrassing, it's humiliating. It's one thing to have loved and lost someone that wasn't real. It's quite another to have loved, lost, and lost all your money. And they're not treated well when they come into law enforcement. People aren't very sympathetic because they're not understanding what's happening. And what is happening is that Chinese organized crime has consulted with PhDs, and they have literally a playbook. They have scripts. They know exactly how to get people into a place where they will do things that they would not ordinarily do. This is absolutely a psychological attack. And so people don't appreciate that. And they think, oh, you're dumb, you lost all your money. No, I was manipulated and my money was stolen. So here's what we do know. We know it's a $6.5 million crime reported to the FBI. We also add in the confidence romance of 672. So we know it's over 7 billion reported. But people aren't reporting. So let's just say 1 in 7, that's very conservative. 1 in 7 are reporting. That's a $50 billion problem just last year, just in the United States. And people who want to think that this is only happening to seniors, oh no, my friends. If you look at the stats, if you look at 60 up, that's one. But look at all the people under 60. It's a lot more than the people over 60. This is a problem hitting all of us. And I talk to them all the time. I talk to 25-year-olds, 40-year-olds, I talk to 60-year-olds. This is across the board, people being crushed. Okay, let me tell you how this goes down. So Chinese organized crime pre-COVID said, we know the Chinese people have an appetite for gambling. We know they have an appetite for cryptocurrency. Neither of those are allowed. Chinese have the Belt and Road program. They are building this beautiful fast road from China to Sihanoukville. Sihanoukville is this beautiful, was backpacker, sleepy town on the coast. Chinese organized crime says, let's fill that up with casinos. There are more casinos today in Sihanoukville than there are in Las Vegas. But they're not for casinos, they're for money laundering. So here's what happens. COVID hits, nobody's moving, and they think, what should we do with all of this real estate that we've built? Literally in the middle of nowhere. You saw the water buffaloes. Shah Zhu Pan, that's what we'll do. And Shah Zhu Pan is their term, it's their word, it means pig butchering. Let's do a scam, let's run a scam out of these casino towers. Well, how will we fill it? Well, everything that they do is well planned, well orchestrated, well done. So what we will do is we will hire people, we'll put these out. I spoke to a man on the phone last night from Uganda, and he was lured into one of these places. He made $100 a week at an internet cafe, and a fellow Ugandan came in there and said, I could get you $1,000 a week in Bangkok. It's data entry, no big deal. Would you be interested in that? He's 23. Yes, he would be interested in that. Of course he would. And he went. And when he got there, that's another ad. When he got there, he found this. You saw those casino towers before. Well, now there's a wall around them. They drive him in there. There's men with AK-47s at the gate. And he's like, this does not look like what I signed up for. Oh, no, it's not. No, you're a scammer now. And you're going to work 16 hours a day. And if you don't like it, we're going to beat you with a baseball bat. We're going to make you beat him with a baseball bat in front of everybody. We're going to hit you with an electric taser. And these are just the things that I feel comfortable sharing with you in a hotel ballroom when we don't know each other that well. It's war crimes level violence that is being exacted against these people, because it has to be, because no human wants to create a fake love with someone and then take their money. That's not something humans do to humans easily. So this is what it looks like. It's hideous. Those rooms, we've all seen well, imagine this hotel. Imagine this hotel, 6 people to a room, and their job is 16 hours a day to scam Americans. That's what we're looking at. But it's not just this hotel. It's actually the Westin too, and it's actually the Hyatt down the street, and just in this city. So when I was, I didn't even tell you who I am. Hi, good morning. I'm Erin West. I was a prosecutor for 26 years. The last 3 years of my career, I was flooded with victims. I could not get over what was happening. I started looking into, hey, what is this? And I started realizing that, oh my God, this is a phenomenon that's happening internationally. And who is looking at this? Is anybody getting this? And so I started talking, and I just couldn't stop talking about it. And I kept talking about, we need to educate, we need to seize, we need to disrupt. That's what we need to do. And I really wanted to go over there and see it with my own eyes. And my office said, no, I don't think you go to Cambodia. And I said, so I retired. I retired because I wanted to, not because I wanted to go to Cambodia, but because this job is too big for somebody who is also trying to prosecute people of crimes in Santa Clara County, California. So I retired. I started a nonprofit. It's called Operation Shamrock. I call it Operation Shamrock because I was trying to tie those 3 together: educate, seize, disrupt. And I thought, what's a clever, cute thing with 3 things that's happy, has an emoji? Let's call it Operation Shamrock. Anyway, so the first thing I did was I went to Cambodia, and I got in a car with 2 journalists. We drove 1,000 miles. Now, what I want you to see is the red star in the middle. That's Phnom Penh. And then if you look down at the bottom, you see Praia Sihanouk. That's where I showed you those pictures. And I want you to see that Dar Sakor Airport is right by there. And I want you to see that Dar Sakor is sort of like a little point. It's sort of like it's a little point where you can imagine maybe that could be a tourist destination. Stand by. Okay, so anyway, here's what I saw when I got there. Massive construction everywhere. I am not lying when I tell you that scamming is the industry of Cambodia today. That is their industry. It is more than half of their GDP. We come from a place where tourism and garments were their things. We all know that probably half the clothes in here were made in Cambodia. We know this. Definitely our sneakers were. And so when you start, well, first you start with these little buildings. See the little building in front? That's what they built at first. Now, I come from California. If you drive from my house to Disneyland, which is a great idea, and you'll notice that it's all farmland out there. There's nothing out there the whole way down. Well, that's how Cambodia is. Now imagine if I'm driving down there and all of a sudden I see a building that massive. It is a city block long, and it's clearly just residential. Why would we need anything like that? Like, it's obvious that this is what it is. But let's go back. So first they build that little building. And they say, let's do a taste of this and let's see if we can make this work, this pig butchering business. And then they realize nobody's coming for us. It's been since COVID. It's now 2025. I personally have been on this since 2022. Nobody's coming for them. Nobody's stopping them. So they think, you know what? Let's build this massive building. If we're going to do this, let's do this. And that's what they're doing. It's all over. Construction everywhere. You've never seen anything like this. It was jaw-dropping. It was very clear to me that this is their business and they're all in on it. And it's well-funded, well-accepted, amazing. Gosh, the guy from Uganda told me about, one of the things he said was, you know, it's not easy for a Ugandan to get a passport, but they were able to turn it around in 2 days for me. That's what's happening out there. There's a line. It's bad guys versus good guys right now. And Ugandan passport people are not on the right side. So like this. These look like Las Vegas resorts being built everywhere. And if you ask someone on the street and you'll say, what's going on in that building? They'll say, oh, online. They do online in there. What's online? Online, we steal all of the Americans' money. Okay. Amnesty International just, I mean, like, look at how out of place that looks. That's crazy, right? Does that look like anything that belongs in that farmland? No, it does not. Now, let's go back to Dar Sakor. So when we talked about Dar Sakor, I said, oh, it's this little point. Well, 10 years ago, Chinese organized crime, they play a long game, friends, came down there and they said, we're going to turn this into like the new city. And we're going to do it like a new resort area. Like you can imagine a new resort area in Hawaii or whatever. That's what they were going to do. They were going to build hotels and everything. So when I was there, there were a few hotels, but all of those hotels had been turned into scam facilities. And they're obviously scam facilities, you guys. There's wire, there's bars over the windows. There's gates around them. You can't get in. Like there is no question, like you can't go in there. There's no question what's happening there. But what they do have is they have this airport. And it's brand new. And my son's a pilot, and I'm emailing him from this, and I'm like, hey, can you look up this airport and tell me, do you think this airport could accommodate military aircraft? And he's like, oh yeah, no, that runway is as long as San Jose's, and it is a little bit longer than San Francisco's, or one or the other, whatever. I'm not a mathematician or a runway expert, but the point is, yes, it can accommodate military aircraft, and there's no tourism there. Why did you just build, Chinese built, why did you allow the Chinese to build an airport right here? Well, because it's right next to Sihanoukville, which houses, let's go here, the Ream Naval Base. Now, Ream Naval Base, up to 5 years ago, that's where US warships were stationed. China shows up and says, you know what, we'll dig this out and we'll make it a better location for you guys, for your warships. And they're like, great, China, please do that. So China has redone this. And now China's warships are there, adjacent to where they have an airport that can accommodate military aircraft. But don't worry, because it's not permanent. But, oh, except we're going to send 2 more ships there. We've got a national security issue that nobody's looking at. We are watching in real time as China, with actual physical power and actual soft power, takes over Cambodia and now gets access to this water that they didn't have access to before. Let me tell you how many people are, and this is an old number, 200, and will you please look at those buildings, like the insanity of this and how close they are together. We're gonna, even though we have all this real estate, we're gonna use every piece of real estate we have to house people. How many buildings can we have that we can throw people in and have them scam? But it's over, this actually is not even correct. The UN report says 120 in Cambodia, 120,000 in Cambodia, 120,000 in Myanmar. That's what we're looking at right here. That was 3 years ago. And I'm also talking to a Ugandan who is inside one of these compounds, who told me that 837 people showed up yesterday. Now we're in Myanmar. Myanmar, and if you, like, these are names that were new to me too, and I didn't know enough about this, but I did my research, I went there, and here's what I know. This is one of the OGs of the scam cities. This is called KK Park. And KK Park is right across the river. You can see the Moya River there, and that is, on this side is Thailand. And maybe you see that telecommunications tower on the Thai side. I certainly did. And realize that, Thai allies are actually giving them all the communications tools they need to steal American money. Anyway, this is the first one that was built, and it was built for the sole purpose of being a scam factory. Now, here's why I'm concerned about it. This is what that land looked like in 2020. If you see, imagine that river as like 2 camel humps, right? And the downside of this is all Myanmar. Above there is Thailand. Nothing there in 2020, like these blue and red buildings, but the rest of it is just being graded. And here's what it looks like in 2022. Like, people can't get their bathroom remodeled in the United States in 2 years. And this is what's happening over there. And when you think about what would it take to build this city, and look at it, like, these are massive buildings. These aren't little buildings. These are massive buildings. Think about the ability to source that kind of capital to get this done, to source the human power to get this done, the raw materials, the design. How do you even do this and get this done in 2 years? That's our enemy. Well, here's what it looks like in 2025. Now we've got both of the camel humps built out. And I was there this year in March at the bottom of the camel hump where it's all dirt. There's 7-story buildings on that now. They're not going to stop. We're not even like poking them. We're barely disrupting them. So look at the farmland there, like there's nothing stopping them. Okay, so again, I told you I'm going to give you things that you can do personally, because we're all on notice. Everyone in this ballroom is now on notice that this is a crisis and this is happening to your neighbors, and you don't know it because your neighbors are too embarrassed. They are never going to tell you that this is happening to them. But I rarely talk to a person these days who doesn't have 1 degree of separation from somebody who has been scammed. And you probably don't know exactly how much money they've been scammed, because they're probably going to tell you it's a lot less than it is. There are American companies enabling this. So what we can do is put any kind of pressure we can on American companies that enable this. So does anybody know what is on the roof of these buildings at KK Park? Starlink. So remember I showed you that communications tower. Well, I talked about that for 3 years. And finally, in February 2025, the Thai government said, you know what, we're going to turn off the cell service there. But it was too late, because they had already acquired all these satellite receivers, so they don't need Thai communications anymore. So when I think of the things that would be very disruptive to this, I think of turning off cell service. And so I wrote to SpaceX and did not hear back. And then Wired magazine picked up that story and did a story on it. Still, we have not heard back. But that is a place where American companies are participating in taking advantage of Americans here. And in case it wasn't obvious already, Meta is where all these people are meeting each other and talking to each other. And yet again, another place where Meta could be getting these fake profiles off. Meta could be shutting down these WhatsApp groups. So that's your receiver. If I told you it was just KK Park, that would be really understating what's happening. There are 40 KK Parks along the river in this location. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. And growing. When I was there, there were fireworks going off at this place because it was a groundbreaking. And so they were celebrating what they were about to do. And now I came there 4 months later, there's buildings in that dirt thing. And then the green that looks like almost a heart on its side has been deforested. But it's not happening in just Southeast Asia. They will go anywhere where this is allowed. So I was in Dubai. This is what's happening in Dubai. Same thing, same routine, same project, same plug and play. It's not difficult. And this is what it looks like in Metro Manila. This is 5 blocks from an American embassy. It's obvious what this is. What is that? Why are people being locked in this thing with bars over the windows? And this is, so what I got to see, this was amazing. So the Philippines has done some raids. The Philippines has gone into some of these complexes and taken everybody out. And so what you see inside is it's eerie, but it's also like, you can't imagine, this is the torture room. Like, you can't imagine people, human beings, being locked to this thing and being beaten. That's what's happening today in this building, 5 blocks from the US Embassy, beating people so that they will go steal money from Americans. Okay, so when the Philippines government was fantastic to me, and they took me around and they showed me a bunch of places. This, if you've ever been to Silicon Valley, you guys are all tech people, you've been to tech parks. This is a tech park. This is a tech park in the middle of nowhere. Did nobody notice that we're building a tech park in the middle of nowhere? And it's called Bon Bon, and there are 35 buildings there. So and they rated this. So I hope, oops, can you play the audio on that? Or it's a video. We just arrived at Bon Bon. It was about supposed to be an 1.5 hour drive, about a 3-hour drive from Manila, but the scale of this place is incomprehensible. You emerge from rural Philippines into this massive complex. It's more than 35 buildings and was designed and built for the sole purpose of scamming. I can't wait to take you through. So the building right behind me is Big Boss Villa, and I've never, as a prosecutor, had the opportunity to walk through the home of my adversary before until this, and it was gut-wrenching. It was, first of all, they all got out because there are tunnels, which I saw, that lead out. There are panic rooms, there are vaults, it was one of the fanciest buildings I had ever been inside. But there's also all the remnants of their wealth and what they spent money on. There are bags from Hermes and Dior. There are, we were with a woman who's an expert in Chinese culture, and she was talking about the liqueurs that were there, the tiger bone wine, all the different things that she was seeing that indicated how much money had been spent. And so it's really, when you deal with victims on the day-to-day and then you see their money being spent in this way, it's gut-wrenching. So. And let me show you, this is inside one of the rooms used for scamming. So this also is a video with sound. Hi friends, I am standing in 100-degree heat and humidity to bring you this story. We are inside a scam facility in Bamban, the Philippines, where they have left behind all their stuff. We've got scripts. We've got the notebooks where they kept all the information. We've got, you must be a smooth criminal for stealing my heart. And on the wall here, we've got our Chinese organized crime messages reminding us to do good work and steal lots of money. You can see the massive wire situation we have going on here, and it's eerie to be in rooms that I know were responsible for stealing billions of dollars from the United States and for housing people who were hit with baseball bats when they couldn't make their quotas in here. Oops, we don't want to see it again. So here's the good news. Are you guys ready for some good news finally? Let's do that. So I was lucky enough when I was a prosecutor to work with one of the most innovative state and local task forces called the REACT Task Force in Santa Clara County. We operated with a what if we could attitude. Because let's be clear, there's no roadmap for how you seize cryptocurrency. There is no roadmap for bad guys in Asia took your money and it is in cryptocurrency in a exchange, a bank owned outside the United States. There's no playbook for that. But when we met a 30-year-old software engineer who had lost all of his money and was suicidal, we thought, what if we could? We know how to trace cryptocurrency. We've done it before for other cases. Let's figure out what we can do. So we traced his cryptocurrency. We found that it went to Binance. Binance is located outside the United States by design. They don't want to be beholden to US law. But we called them up and we said, hey, this is what we have. We've got stolen money on your platform. If we get a search warrant from an American judge, will you honor it? And they said, yes, for this purpose only. Yes, we'll do this. And so they did. And we navigated it and figured it out. My heart was stopping when I was going into court to ask the judge to do this because this had never happened before. And I've got the victim with me and I've got 2 other victims with me and I sure hope she's going to say okay. And she did. And we were able to get 8 more victims help in 2022 and got back $1.5 million to them. And the next year we helped 25 victims get their money back. But what we realized is that we got some great press. And when you get great press like that, you get a lot of victims coming your way. There's a kind of crazy crack. I'm going to stay out of the middle. I keep falling in it. So you get people coming and saying, hey, we hear Santa Clara County knows how to get money back. I'm from Dallas. Can you help me? Yeah, we found your money. I know where your money is. There's $500,000 here that we could get for you. And he's like, great. So I'm like, let's call Dallas. Hi, Dallas. Dallas Police Department. We've got $500,000 that we'd like to get back to a victim. Oh, yeah, we don't do cryptocurrency. Okay. So that victim could not be helped. So then we were like, surely Orange County, California will be able to help with their victim who we have $250,000 for. Hi, Orange County, can you help us with this? No, we don't do cryptocurrency. So we thought that is not acceptable, not on our watch. So we made it our mission for 2023 that We were going to be the team that was going to go and inspire and educate local and state law enforcement to be able to do this. And so we started talking about it. I started talking about it on LinkedIn, and people started coming to us, and we realized, oh, there is a decent community of can-do state and locals out there. We made friends in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We found somebody in Queens. We found somebody in Connecticut, in Brooklyn, and we started building a coalition. And so I had a meeting in 2023, and I said, I'm just going to have a meeting and see how many of you I can gather up. And 85 people came to that meeting. We called it the Crypto Coalition. And now we're up to 2,400 people, local, state, federal, international partners who do this work. And here's what we do. That is an active listserv all day, every day, because there's always new cryptocurrency. Hey, do you know how to do this? Hey, my commander's mom just lost money in a crypto ATM. Can you help us with that? Yes. It is, it's actually kind of an unprecedented egoless group, which you don't see all day, every day, but you see a bunch of people who have learned how to do an interesting skill that helps people. And there's something that happens when people get the opportunity to help people that they buy into, and they're happy to do it. So this crypto coalition is one of the things I'm most proud of, and we continue to do this work. In fact, I'm missing a meeting. We call them the Avengers. The Avengers are meeting right now, and they are our top 13 people who do this, and we meet on a regular basis to talk about what are we going to do about things. We've had 3 in-person conferences. We do a webinar every month, and we are creating capability for state and local law enforcement to do this work that must be done. Oh, thank you, thank you. You guys, I only have 3 minutes. I only have 3 minutes left, so let me tell you about this. So I retired, and I thought this is great for law enforcement. We've proved that a community together can do something. What if we made that community bigger? What if we started bringing in banking, telco, T-Mobile? Now I got confused because I thought about T-Mobile back there, but banking, telco, tech, crypto, diplomacy, victims. What if we started bringing those people together and cross-gave information? And what if we built other communities like my Crypto Coalition? And that's what we're doing right now. We've got a website. This website my team and I designed to be the one-stop shop for victims. If you are a victim of this, we will tell you all about it. We will tell you what happened to you. We will put you in a victims group. We will direct you to victims, people that you can talk to right now. They're not us, but we'll show you how to get there. And it's an amazing thing that had not previously existed. We do something where we talk to survivors 2 hours a week, and we find out so that we are on the cutting edge of what is happening today in the United States. And I don't know if there are any bankers in here, but I will tell you real quick. Somebody the story last week, a guy wanted to wire $200,000 to this crypto account. And the first branch said, no, we're not going to let you do that. Second branch said, no, we're not going to let you do that, but we will give you the cash. We will give you the cash. But it's going to take us time to get that together. And so they had like 3 or 4 days to figure out this probably isn't a good idea, but they did it anyway. Victim shows up, collects $200,000 in cash. So we've got broken systems everywhere. And so that is another thing I want to tell you today is look around your own shop. Look around your own shop. You may not be in anything that directly touches this, but what you will be is in proximity to someone who can do something better. We all need to be moving 1% better. I talk about this all the time. That's just to show like, this is what I do. I talk about this. I have a podcast, and the podcast is meant for my Aunt Terry. It is meant to get the word out and tell people what's happening here. And what I've testified before Congress, and what we need here is a national leader. We need a national strategy, and we need a national task force. This cannot be being run in the silos that it's currently being run. That's me, and that's that. But thank you so much for your time and your interest today. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk to you about this.